Hello, 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 hello. Welcome to another episode of the Compendium of Discomfort. It is Japanuary. You should participate and watch a lot of Japanese movies. But today we're gonna start a little series because I guess this time it's gonna be a little bit bigger. That's the best and worst and stuff of 2025. Yep. Like last year, our lovely listener, watcher, audience member Rolf sent me his list of the best and worst movies of the year, including actors and actresses. This time he sent it in English, so we will just do everything in English. Lucky. On top of that, I recently went to this lovely event that was Yugo Sakamoto's end of the year party, basically, like a little talk event where he talked for 2 hours about stuff he did this year, which was quite nice. He completely forgot Ghost Killer, that he worked on that, but yeah, he talked about all the stuff he did. By the way, his new TV show, We Are Bad Barbers, just started, and there's gonna be probably like Baby Assassins every day, a weekly video by me, because I watched the first episode today and it's really good. I like it a lot. Anyway, at that event he gave his best and worst as well, so I will just include it here. And yeah, I will obviously include my own stuff as well. As for Yugo Sakamoto, he obviously doesn't care if a movie is from Japan or from anywhere else. And Rolf included the movies that he watched in 2025, so that includes some older stuff. And for me, it's gonna be strict movies that got released in Japan, in the cinema, or somehow in that year. So I was lucky enough to catch up with some movies this year, like the last few days, or like the last week or so. So I was really lucky because there was some really good stuff there. The Killer Goldfish I will watch tomorrow, so that's not gonna be included anywhere. I hope it's great anyway. I'm lucky enough that it's being shown again. That was like playing for 1 week in one of the cinemas here, and then it was gone. Yeah. Too bad. But yeah, I got the chance to watch it again. So I got again the chance to watch it. So that's going to be fun. And I just want to point out that First Mission, a movie by Hayate, a wonderful action comedy, a fantastic movie with Saori Izawa and Ayane and basically every other person that's involved in Japanese action movies, is gonna get a release on Blu-ray with English subtitles. Pre-orders will start sometime soon. It will probably be awfully expensive because Japanese Blu-rays, but it's worth it. Keep an eye on that. Other thing I just want to throw in because it's good. I haven't really watched any of these yet. Just some great releases this year. The Radical Japan Nagisa Oshima box by Radiance. Basically, I just read a book about the Japanese Nouvelle Vague, and it sounds really amazing, and that's great. And then we have here from Third Window Films the Mike Hammer trilogy. I have actually watched all 3 movies in the cinema. They were all great. I love this release, even though I haven't really touched the release itself. And here the Takashi Ishii box, that's probably great. I don't really know any of his movies, but I'm very excited that stuff like this finally gets released. We talked about the V Cinema box by Arrow already. I watched a few more movies, but I haven't really recorded yet. We're gonna get back to that, but I enjoy that box a lot as well, even though by far the best movies were so far the first 2 that I already talked about. But I think it's a really great set. I like that this whole like 90s V cinema era gets some attention now, and it's just overall lovely, lovely stuff. So, let's get to some statistics, and then for today we will get to the worst movies of the year. Why not? Just for my statistics, that year I watched 300 movies in general. I watched a lot in the cinema. I watched like 73 movies in the cinema. And I actually have here in my best of 2025 list 79 movies. So 79 movies are potential contenders for this list, even though 2 I kicked out because they're not Japanese. That's the Naked Gun and Happy Gilmore 2. They're both kind of okay, not terrible. I just wanted to see if comedies are actually back in Japan. They're pretty still, they never really went away. But yeah, so we have some nice comedies in our list today as well. So yeah, I watched 300 movies overall. The first one that I watched was Oppai Volleyball. I talked about it in a video. Another one that will show up later is a Dollhouse. That was the last one I watched. A wonderful little horror movie by Shinobu Yaguchi. I think it didn't make my best list, but it will show up at some other point, and then we will talk about it a little bit. So my most watched actors are a little bit funny. Number 1 is Kiyohiko Shibukawa with 13 movies, even though that's mildly cheated because I watched this, what is it called? Soyu Mono ni Watashi wa Naritai, which is one big movie which includes several smaller short movies, and I locked them all. I nasty little creature, but the short movies are just in there as a whole, so why not? My second most watched actor is not Japanese, it's Mel Blanc, I guess that's how you pronounce it, and he's just in there because I watched a bunch of old Looney Tunes cartoons, and he basically speaks everyone in those, so he's in there. Then we have Naoto Takenaka, a great actor who does all kind of stuff. So he was, for example, in Demon City, a good movie. He was in Blowback, the first one, not as good as Blowback 2. And from the V Cinema collection from Arrow, he was in Carlos, a pretty good movie. And yeah, recently I mentioned the Psychic Vision, Janganre, yeah, stuff like that. So good guy. And then we have Yoshiyuki Yamaguchi and Yasukaze Motomiya, who are obviously in the unification of Japan movies, and therefore I watched quite a lot of their stuff. The highest actress here on my list is obviously Yumi Kawai, who was in a lot of good stuff. For example, 2 Seasons, 2 Strangers, or Renoir, or She Taught Me Serendipity. So most of the movies that are here, that are on my list that I watched last year with her, are actually somewhere in my ranking. I guess I saw one that's not in there. When it comes to directors, we have Toshiaki Toyoda on number 1. As Shibukawa slightly cheated, but I watched a lot of his older movies that I included in the video about Transcending Dimensions, and yeah, he's just a fantastic director, and I hope there's much more to come. Number 2 on here is a director who won't get mentioned anywhere else today, is Yoji Kuri, is a guy who made like weird little psychedelic animated short movies that I didn't even enjoy all that much. I just watched them because some lovely people from a German podcast asked me if I were able to find one of his short movies, which I wasn't. But on the way there, I just found so much stuff that's like really, really short. Okay, let's watch one more. And I'm not a big fan. But number 3 here is Yugo Sakamoto. Who would have guessed? I mean, he did so much new stuff this year that we're gonna talk about. And I watched some older stuff. But yeah, you know who he is. We don't need to talk too much about him. And then with Koichi Sakamoto, who, the guy who does all the wonderful tokusatsu stuff and some other movies that we're gonna talk about today. And as I just saw here, he made the Shogun's Ninja, and they announced the sequel that's gonna come soonish, and I guess that will be a lot of fun as well. And my number 5 here with the directors would be Chuck Jones, another case of I watched a bunch of Looney Tunes cartoons. Wonderful. Yeah, then we have people like Kiyoshi Kurosawa and Takashi Miike, the usual suspects. So yeah, that's my statistics for this year. All nice and funky. And let's start with the worst movies of the year. And I want to start with Rolf. And especially here, similar to last year, Rolf has a lot of anger and hatred when he watches movies, it seems. He has like 10 movies he really, really, really didn't enjoy, or maybe just not all that much. And he wrote a comment. I will read them out after that, Sakamoto, and then me. And for me, at least, it's not that there's any movie that's really, really bad, even though I have one movie that I thought is like complete garbage that no one should watch, but it's not a Japanese movie, but I will mention it anyway. That will be the end of this part. And I guess for Mr. Sakamoto, it wasn't like, these movies are so bad. He was very, very careful phrasing that. It was more like I didn't enjoy it all that much, and there's somehow some connection between his list and my list. I don't think those are bad movies at all, and somehow the way he explained why he didn't enjoy them all that much makes sense to me. So yeah, but let's start with Rolf's worst 10 of the year. On number 10, one of the movies from this box set that I haven't watched yet. That's Original Sin from 1992 by Takashi Ishii. And he writes here, a drifter falls in love with the wife of a real estate agent and plans to get rid of him. A potentially interesting neo-noir inspired by The Postman Always Rings Twice, which sadly went for the Japanese raped to romance trope. And I can see where his discomfort with this movie comes from, because he doesn't like this trope. I guess maybe besides that there could be some joy to find. With his number 9, I have to totally agree that it's not a good movie, and that's It Comes from 2018 by Tetsuya Nakashima. And me, for my part, I already don't like Nakashima, even though I will have to watch his next movie, because there's a lot of like great actors in there. I think Shinya Tsukamoto is then in there as well. And in his best movies, I would say at least one time watching, I can enjoy them for the good style. But let's see what Rolf wrote here. He wrote about a curse called It, which destroys a family. What a mess. Well, could have been a genre parody, but with the director actually taking this seriously, it just stayed a mess. It comes, I go. And I would just say Nakashima is completely unable to write humans. There are no humans in his movies. There are characters who fulfill some kind of function in the story, and usually you have good people who are victims, you have bad people who take advantage or somehow do bad things to the good people. And yeah, that's like everything that's going on there. There's no depth at all. I don't know. I don't get his movies. Like the first time I watched Confessions, of course, I was like, wow, what's this? Just this whole opening with the teacher talking to the students. And it's so like a revenge movie about a teacher who takes revenge with the students. Yeah, and that's the thing. He has like this scandalous story which has just nothing going on besides it. It's just like scandalous and edgy, and yeah, same with World of Kanako. When I watched it in the cinema, I was like, oh, holy cow, this is so good, because the style just kicked, and the cinema experience, it was at the Nippon Connection, so you have the festival hype feeling anyway. So if I go to the Nippon Connection, I enjoy almost everything because it's just like festival, great, good. A movie must be really, really bad for me to not enjoy it in that setting. And when I rewatched it, I felt like there's nothing like that could get me on an emotional level. There's just nothing going on because it's all like just people, and not even people, just like, I don't know, paper cutouts of people doing bad things to each other, and everything needs to be somehow edgy and cool and nasty and bad. And yeah, that's just Nakashima in a nutshell, completely unable to write anything about humans. I would say, for example, something like Takashi Miike's Ichi the Killer, which is another completely like edgy, questionable movie, which works because every character has some kind of humanity hidden under all this terrible stuff that's going on. Like the main character is looking for love, no? Or stuff like that. So there's something human-like in these monstrous characters, and with Nakashima there's just emptiness and nothingness. Then we come to number 8, where I have to protest a lot. That's this one. I really, really enjoyed this movie in the cinema. I recently bought the Blu-ray from Third Window Films, and I will watch it again, but when I watched it in the cinema, I had so much fun. But let's see what Rolf writes here. Boxman 2024, Gakuryu Ishii. About man being obsessed with living in a box and some pervert action thrown in. A great premise, very disappointing outcome, where Ishii takes his characters and plot ended up being way too artsy-fartsy for me, as much as I could see the commentary on the male gaze and Japanese society in general. I just wished it to be more fun. I get his idea. I feel like too artsy-fartsy doesn't exist. I really liked that, and of course more fun is always good, but yeah, I must protest here. It's a lovely, lovely movie. And then we have something I've never even heard of, that's no longer Heroine, from 2015 by Tsutomu Hanabusa. A teenage girl who is in love with her childhood friend but never told him is upset when he gets a girlfriend while another guy is after her. A genre parody which turns into a serious high school romance drama, asking me to actually care for characters who start off as cartoon caricatures just doesn't work, especially when the cast is so very terrible. I guess I've got to believe him here. I don't know this movie. The other one, the next one, number 6, is this one from the Arrow J Horror box, which I bought already 2 years ago, and I still haven't watched a single movie. It's terrible. You know this feeling, you buy stuff and then you... So, number 6 is here, St. John's Wort, I don't know, 2001, by Tin Shimoyama. A director travels to a spooky mansion owned by his ex-girlfriend who accompanies him in order to shoot footage for his amateur film. And that's exactly what this movie feels and looks like, heavily using technology which was already vintage material a few years later. Can be excused, but choosing a look which is simply vomit-inducing is unforgivable. Yeah, welcome to my feeling when I see teal and orange, which is a look that will be vintage, I guess, in a few years, I hope, and it's just vomit-inducing. Yeah, I haven't watched it yet. I will get to that someday. Eventually, we have to watch it all. Then we have, I have no idea what that is. Filament, 2002 by Jinsei Tsuji, about a dysfunctional family. The mother left years ago because of her husband being a transvestite, while the delinquent brother is in love with his sister who gets harassed by her Yakuza ex-husband. If played as a parody to the Japanese family genre, Filament might have worked. As it is, it's a total mess, which at least gets unintentionally funny at times. Okay. So, 2018 by Yohei Suzuki. A young woman who has lost touch to society wanders around in the projects talking to herself. And that's the whole movie. Luckily, it's not very long, as I don't think I would have made it through this if it had been even a bit longer. Okay. Then we have a Blue Lake Girl by a director who I think might be very good, but I haven't seen this. A Blue Lake Girl, 1986 by Akio Jisoji. You know, the guy who is basically responsible for the famous Ultraman look, which was copied by Hideaki Anno, and who besides that did some artsy-fartsy weird films. So here, a painter doesn't go through with a double suicide and just lets the wife of his friend die alone. Years later, her ghost starts haunting him while his friend's new wife resembles the deceased one. And again becomes the painter's secret lover. A highly stylized neo-noir with a bit of J-horror TM thrown in. While the story is potentially interesting as a variation of Hitchcock's Vertigo, its atrocious execution pretty much destroys the movie for me. I'm very curious what this atrocious execution looks like. I think maybe I might like this. Then we have Umineko, 2004 by Yoshimitsu Morita. And another case where I haven't seen the movie, but I love Yoshimitsu Morita, at least the movies that I have seen. So I think, judging from his comments that I will read in a second, it's another movie where he has more a problem with the moral issues that the movie has, and maybe with the movie itself. So here it's about a fisherman treats his wife like leading to her suicide. Movies like this really make me fall out of love with Japanese cinema. How it indulges in patriarchy is simply disgusting. Man can treat his wife as he pleases, I quote, can cheat in her, abuse her, literally imprison her, but when she escapes her misery and kills herself, he is the victim. F that. Of course, he never needs to feel sorry for his behavior, but deserves forgiveness by his children, and sure he's asked, can you forgive her? Sounds like a morally very, very problematic movie, but like I said, maybe that's the big issue here, because usually Morita makes pretty cool, stylish, well-made movies, and I'm very curious about this. And number one, another one where I have to disagree a lot, that's this one. That's Low Life Love, produced by Third Window Films, released by Third Window Films 2015 by Eiji Uchida. And Rolf writes about a wannabe director who struggles to make a movie. Eiji Uchida shamelessly puts self-pity on screen here, trying to champion the independent cinema and its people. Well, I cannot get behind rapists and especially despised Uchida's misogyny, while his male characters are presented as poor victims of their own lust. All female characters are shown as opportunists who are happily willing to sell their bodies in order to make it into the biz. This movie shows what's wrong with the Japanese movie biz without realizing to be the problem itself. And I think he slightly mischaracterizes or misinterprets this movie a bit, because I would say, first, there's no female character who is willingly or happily, willingly, yes, but not happily selling their bodies, because it's more the thing, if you want to be in the business, that's how it goes, and it's more like they accept their fate, and none of them are happy with that. I never had the impression that in this movie anyone is happy about the situation they're in. Like, it's just a terrible situation, and they even realized, like, later when this whole like Shion Sono stuff came out, they were even too nice to the people in the business. And the whole point is that this business, as bad as it is, destroys the people. It turns the men into like disgusting pigs. It turns the women into this, and people still somehow participate in this whole like suffering and terrible stuff because they love movies too much. So yeah, it's a love letter to filmmaking, but it never glorifies anything that happens here. It's not this poor guy. I would say he's never presented as a poor guy. He's presented as someone who brought his situation on himself. Like, he's not a wannabe director. He made a movie, like independent hit, more or less, and after that he abuses his status as a like respectable director to sleep with women. And yeah, it's never presented as this poor guy who can't get stuff done. It's always like, hey, this guy is responsible for his own situation, and then he looks for excuses like, I just don't want to sell out, I have my principles and all these things. And like, in the end, the movie is not very kind to this character, even though he learns his lesson. And I would say Rolf misinterpreted this movie quite a lot, and like, it's very obvious that the way women are treated in these movies is nothing that's good or nothing that the director supports. Like I said, they later realized that they were still too kind to the situation, to the film business, and they should have been harsher. Even though I think in some like Q&As, people said, oh, that's so unbelievable, like how can it be that bad? And it's actually much worse than in the movie. I never had any feeling that Uchida hates women. Like, especially, he made a very similar movie that's called Shrieking in the Rain, about a woman who tries to make a pink film, and shows how a woman in that business is being treated. And I completely disagree. I mean, it's sad that he didn't enjoy the movie, but I think the reason I cannot agree at all, because it's actually a very good movie. Anyway, let's get to Mr. Sakamoto, and he has 3 movies on his list of not my favorite movie of the year. And the first one is Kokuho. What he said about Kokuho was very funny, because he compared it to like sports movies, boxing movies and stuff. And he said in those movies, if you have like the guy who tries to be the best, you can see his progress, you can understand his progress. Let's say it's a boxing movie. Here he's bad at boxing, here he's good at boxing. And in Kokuho you have these like training scenes, and you have the actor saying his lines, and like his trainer says, no, that's not good. And then he says it again and again and again. And in the end, it's good. But as an audience member, you don't really understand the difference. What was different between the first one and the last one? So he missed this feeling of, where can I see the progress? And I completely understand that. And we will get to Kokuho again later. But yeah, I talked about it on this channel. So if you want to know the details, just watch the video, which caused some controversy. Very funny. Some Japanese people were very angry. Sorry. Then we have Koji Shiraishi's new movie Kinky. I have no idea what that exactly is, or because I haven't watched, I'm not sure what his issues really are. I know some people with good taste like it very much, and Shiraishi is usually a very popular director among fans of Japanese cinema. I'm not a big Shiraishi, like, I don't know him all that much. I haven't seen many of his movies. Those that I have seen, I liked very much, especially Safe Word was a lot of fun. But yeah, not sure what's wrong here. And the other one is this one, Exit 8 by Genki Kawamuda. And yeah, I think he was a little bit turned off by the running around in circles. And yeah, I get the point. Good. Yeah, those are his movies. Let's get to my movies. And yeah, for me, it's like I said, there are no bad movies on my list here. They're just movies where I have some, especially after a while, where I have some issues. And one is this one. I Am Kirishima by Banmei Takahashi. It's a totally fine movie if we didn't have another movie that tells the same story in a better way. So it's just bad luck that it got released after the better one. If the order would have been like the opposite, probably. Yeah, but this basically, why every now and then I think about the other movies, this one basically just completely disappeared from my memory. And yeah, too bad. Takahashi is a great director. He made some really, really amazing movies. And yeah, too bad. Next one on my shit list is Exit 8 by Genki Kawamuda. Like in my video about it, I mentioned some flaws that, like, you have this video game structure with the levels, and I just feel like it's so much missed potential by going on this more, we need to make the struggle big. Yeah, with and by making it big, you basically sabotage the whole basic principle of the game, and it doesn't really work all that well. I would say it's still a fun movie, but I didn't really have the desire to watch it again, because the best part is over pretty soon, and then you get to this bombast stuff, where I think it should have gotten smaller. It just got bigger, and completely sabotaged its video game roots. Yeah, still okay. Another one that's okay and fine is this one, A Bad Summer by Hideo Jojo, who's a director who I usually like, and this had a pretty cool cast and everything. It was just like, it had no idea what it wants to be. Yeah, is it a serious like social drama or like an over-the-top crime movie? There's still a lot of joy in there. Just the missed potential is a shame. It's still a good movie. If you have the chance, you can still watch it and enjoy it, and it's fine. Another movie that I mentioned in my Japanuary roundup video was Showtime 7 by Kazutaka Watanabe. Like I said, it's just not a super exciting movie. Could have been. There was another like terrorist bombing movie that was just so much better, and yeah, it's just there and doesn't do any harm. Another movie that's there is this one, Scarlet. I already called it in my video the most disappointing movie of 2025. Rolf was very sad about that because he believes he will enjoy it very much, and I hope he will enjoy it very much. I hope everybody enjoys this movie very much, but I just think it's such missed potential that it's just why did this happen? Just made me sad, and I didn't really enjoy that, and yeah, it could have been great. It's very mediocre, and yeah. And the last one on my list is a movie that's actually pretty good. It's Kokuho. No, it's still a good movie. There's still very beautiful, wonderful scenes. It just, if it hadn't popped up on the news all the time, like now it's the most successful Japanese live action movie ever. Yeah, or people talked about it a lot. If this didn't happen, I think I would have completely erased it from my mind. There's like nothing that made me think about it. There's nothing that made me feel like, oh, I want to watch it again. So maybe it's just like, it's a movie that's good when you watch it and then disappears quite quickly. And I have this feeling that it might be less impressive or wonderful if you watch it several times, because the main drama plot is very standard. So yeah, it's still totally fine. A good drama. Congratulations that it got closer to winning an Oscar as the best foreign language movie. I think it's actually the perfect movie to win an Oscar because it's typical Oscar cinema. So yeah, still totally fine. Can't really complain about all these movies. I mean, Scarlet is by far the worst in this batch because it's just like completely disappointing. Yeah. So yeah, those are the movies where I like looking back. I think maybe I'm not gonna go back to those. And the actually worst movie of the whole year, which I want to talk about a little bit, even though it's not a Japanese movie, but it has some connection to Japanese cinema, and there's one Japanese actress, and that's The Lost Chapter, Yuki's Revenge by Quentin Tarantino. And holy cow, what a piece of garbage is this. Looks completely awful. This whole, like, what is it, Fortnite, right? This whole Fortnite visual is just like, I don't know. I'm not the target audience, obviously, but it just feels like an old man trying to suck up to like the cool, hip, young kids and completely pooping on his own like ideals, because he's usually the cinema purist, just shoot on movies and all the stuff, and suddenly he makes this Fortnite clown show, whatever this is. It's just like, Quentin, what's wrong with you? How could you do that? I mean, now it's kind of cool to hate Tarantino, and he did and said some stuff that's really silly, but he's been an edgelord all his career. Like this Paul Dano. There's something going crazy. Anyway, but I still feel like he made some great movies, and I'm still looking forward to see Kill Bill, the whole bloody, what is it called? I forgot. Anyway, I will watch it when it comes out, and I will probably enjoy it. But yeah, what did he think? Probably he just wanted some money, like his podcast that was suddenly just like, oh, give me $8 a month. He really needs the money, I guess. Poor little Quentin. Yeah. And on this note, let's stop here today, and we will continue quite soonish with the bronze category of the best movies, best Japanese movies of 2022. Thank you very much for watching. Don't be angry at me. Be angry at everyone else. From now on comes the joy. Thank you. See you. Bye.